Joy. We had church today, and there were people here. It was a wonderful feeling to see the parishioners back that braved it and came in today. So we want to recap and welcome to G.R.O.W. and keep you informed of what's going on in our parish. St. Demetrius, of course, G.R.O.W. and Father Joseph are here. So G.R.O.W., president of the community, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming to... So what are your takeaways from today and things maybe that we need to be conscious of?
Thank you, Tasso. Hello again to everybody out there. Hope everyone's continuing to stay safe. We just had our first reopening service and it went very well. There is some clarification that I do want to get out to the community so that everybody's informed about some of the things that maybe weren't touched upon in some of our previous communications. But a couple things. First, when you do come back to church, please check in at the Pangati, and that's strictly for contact tracing, just to make sure we can get your name down. Please don't be offended if we ask for your name, because people were wearing masks today, and some people we weren't able to recognize. So, if we ask for your name, please don't be offended. It's just, sometimes with the mask, and we haven't seen you for a couple months, some people's hair is getting a little bit longer, and haven't had haircuts, so that sort of thing was happening today. But please make sure to check in. Now more than ever, the electronic version of the Sunday Bulletin has become the most important document that we're sending to you each week. In there, it provides the sign-up link to register for church service. So you can go in there and sign up and say, I will be attending church this Sunday. That is not a mandatory thing. However, it is encouraged so that we can get a head count and try and understand how many people we're going to get from week to week right now so that we can make the necessary arrangements. We may, in the future, as people start coming back to church, get into an overflow situation for which we'll be able to accommodate, but we're going to try and make sure we know people are coming. So it's not a mandatory thing. If you forget and you wake up Sunday, you say, oh, I forgot to sign up, I can't go to church. That's not true. Please get ready, come on down still. We will find a place for you. But we are trying to get that pre-registration so that we can kind of get an idea of head count. And that will be in the Sunday Bulletin. There's a link for that. Also in the Sunday Bulletin, we're going to include the Creed and the Prayer of Confession before Communion. There are no liturgy books or reading materials in the pews for the moment. Again, that's temporary, from the metropolis, So that's going to be put in the bulletin as well for you to follow during that time. If you don't have the creed memorized, that's fine. We're going to put that in there as well. If you are not receiving the Sunday bulletin, please contact the church. Give us your email so that you can get that document. As I said before, it has become the most important document you're getting each week right now, with all the updates, with all the information you need to make church service goes smoothly. With that being said, it went great today. It was nice to see people back in church. I look forward to seeing more of you next week as well.
It broke a streak though, G.R.O.W. Today we had more parishioners than parish council members, and you had 8 parish council members here. Number 2 is almost everybody was here that started Divine Liturgy today.
Yeah, we did.
That was awesome.
We did have a nice early start, and everybody was mostly here, so that was good.
So just to dovetail into what G.R.O.W. said, my observations for the altar were these 2 things. Number 1, there is a great deal of process going on. When you come in, you're getting checked for your temperature. Our parish council has thought ahead and said, look, what if someone did get it? We need to be able to track, so they're taking the names, which I think is awesome. It shows their thoughtfulness. So you'll come in, you'll sanitize your hands when you come in the front door. You'll go to check in. You'll tell the parish council member what candles and where you want them, and they'll take them and put them in place for you. I would say that the 2 things I noticed, number 1, please silence your cell phones when you come in, so you don't get a message if someone's checking if you're at church and you can't answer the phone quickly enough. And number 2 is to come in respectfully and quietly when you come in, because there is a lot of process that takes up and causes a little more commotion from that standpoint at this time.
To that, Tasso, too, a word on seating. There was also some confusion. People thought that they had to sit socially distanced from their own family members. That's not the case. We are sitting family members as a group and then social distancing you from the next group, whatever that may be, whether it's a single, a couple, a party of 3 or a party of 4. I'm speaking restaurant
business, yeah.
Party of 3, party of 4.
You got a 2-topper?
Yeah, exactly. So that's not the case. You don't need to socially distance from your own family members. You all can sit together, and then we will create the seating and the spacing to the next group.
And, just to go to your point about reserving a spot, in my business, we're asking people to reserve spots to come work out, right? And so what we're doing is, we had to do that just so we could staffing and stuff like that, but we want to make sure that everybody understands. Come to church if you desire. We will accommodate you, but it's nice to know who's coming and how many. So,
yeah.
Father, your takeaways from today's service.
It's wonderful that we have come to this point where we can be together. Obviously, this whole time, mainly the parish council, the leaders of the ministry have carried most of the weight to keep things functional. And the parishioners, for the different reasons, were taking backseat, even though if they wanted to help, that opportunity wasn't there. Now that we are back into normal, I think the most important things is re-engaging our parishioners, so it doesn't become a habit of taking backseat and staying away, and that habit will be very unuseful and helpful down the road. So this is the time that we need to think collectively as a parish, with the help of the parish leadership, about initiatives and ways to go around whatever new procedures, temporary procedures, whatever is in place, in order to engage our parishioners so they have a role. It's very important.
It's just like muscles. If you
Just
don't use it, you're going to lose it. And we're going to point out it's critical because many people have been vacant from these seats for a time now. And to engage them again is very important.
Yes, and that's going to be really the most discussions, I think, with G.R.O.W, the Parish Council, the ministries, of how we face this challenge, because we do not want to let the relaxation stay for too long and develop bad habits, and the good habits are forgotten.
Let's not become couch potato Christians.
That's kind of, in your humorous way. Yes, I won't necessarily use that term, but yes.
And some people don't know about our relationship, Father, that we have conversations as we go down the aisle in the morning with the gospel and that.
Do you have to put that on the camera right
Sure,
now?
I do. Your daughter can, that's why you didn't want to go live, right? So she can censor me out if I say something inappropriate. But the one joy you have is socially engaging the people when they come to church. And we always tease that I have a time schedule to keep in the altar, and you mess it up when you start welcoming people in the orthos. So I hope more joy returns to you because there'll be more people here early enough for you to engage and get me behind schedule.
Yes, it will be my joy to get you behind schedule, Tasso.
So, Father, I told you that today's speech I did for the 55 Days group, you were going to enjoy because I talked about fear as the greatest enemy of man, and that doubt is the first cousin of fear. And we let doubt set itself in, then fear grows in us, and fear keeps us. When we won't master fear, when we won't fight against fear, when we won't overcome fear, we put ourselves in a position where we don't see the happiness, the health, the greatness, the spiritual strength that we should actually have. So I think you're going to enjoy that piece. To engage the ministries, the one ministry you talked briefly about was as I was working last night making prosfero, and I was asked, how are we going to get andithro? And the logistics of how we're doing communion to apply to what we've been told to do doesn't allow us to hand out the andithro because we don't want 100 common hands going in the bowl. So to that point, I was sitting there and I said, I saw a little cupcake thing, and I said, what if everybody at home were to make their own little prosfero, whatever size they want, put it in a plastic bag, write their name on the plastic bag, bring it to the Pangadi when they check in, Kyriako. It is brought to the altar after the consecration. I give it to you, you bless it, I'll take it back to the parish council, and on the way out, they can get their own prosperos. So hopefully I'll get with Billy and we'll do a session on that. And I'm getting the cut the session. So God bless you. Welcome back to St. Demetrius. We look forward to seeing you in person very soon. We look forward to it. God bless.